Mike, you try to balance as you go through these special seasons of staying competitive, keeping the fight, continuing to win, but also making sure that your guys are rested for what is up and coming. And, with the Braves coasting right now, again, I'm not saying, it's over, but it kind of is. When or if do you decide to consider resting players that could be up for either milestones, records? We just talked about Matt Olson. You resting Matt Olson and he's chasing 60 home runs?
Yeah, and, look, he seems to be all these guys not good, pretty durable. Hasn't really been a concern. So, yeah, I think you continue to let him rake. One thing for certain is, and you and I have debated this, I think in baseball, we saw it last year, Phillies got hot at the right time. It's almost like the Braves beat the Mets for the division. It was like, whew, and there was still more to be done. And it seems like Philly just got hot at the right time.
They did.
The Marlins have had that happen a few times in this division. So I want guys playing. We've always used in football, I know it's apples to oranges, the John Abrahams player not playing Week 16. Smitty played him. He got hurt. Wasn't the same guy in the playoffs that year. Maybe cost us a trip to the Super Bowl. But I think you want to have everybody firing. The only thing was the pitching is Morton. Maybe you let Morton because you can expand the roster on September 1st. That's when Soroka or Kobe Allard, those guys can maybe spell Morton so he's fresh. How about that?
I like it. And then I like it.
And then only thing for Strider is because every pitch Strider throws, after I think middle of September will be the most pitches ever thrown in the bigs. So that's a concern too. And the same goes for Bryce Elder.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is, and Chris, can we get a poll question up? I'm just wondering about this with Braves fans and how we feel Braves country. Part of me is let guys continue to do what they've done. Whatever it is Acuna's doing, and if he's going to run away with this MVP thing, let him do it. He's crushing the ball. He's hitting over 300. We know he's on base all the time. He lives on base. We understand, the steals milestone that's potentially in place for him to capture. Maybe you let him do all of those things. Spencer Strider, Mike, he's chasing a Cy Young. We all think that that's going to happen with these great pitchers every year. It doesn't. It didn't happen for Smoltz every year. It didn't happen for Maddox every year, even though they had stretches where they were just great, and you went, obviously he deserves it. But if you have a chance to win a Cy Young, Mike, you can't let your foot off the gas.
No.
You got to let these guys go. So for everyone who's saying, hey, maybe we should rest some of these guys and get ready for the playoffs, and we'll put it up at Dukes and Bell 929. I'm not resting Olson. His bat's too hot, and if he goes into a slump for whatever reason, and I hope he doesn't, Mike, let him do it before the playoffs start. I don't want him to take a break. Yeah. You giving him, every 1 week a day off, and then all of a sudden he goes into a slump, and now he's trying to work his way back out of it.
Olson had that bad slump, and was like this next to last week in August, I want to say last year.
He did,
and that kind of, and then he got back on track. He was one of the guys who did the job against the Phils. The thing is, remember, Fried had the stomach thing. That's just, that's just crazy odds of that happening again. That's just 1 in a million. But last year with Strider, he did strain his tummy, an oblique. And do you say, look, I gotta maybe
with the way he pitches?
Yeah, because he's, I don't give a flip about the postseason awards. I know the Braves fans certainly do. I want to win the World Series. The only trophy that matters is the one with all the pennants.
Shut him down, Mike Bell says. Shut him down.
Monitor and manage the innings. But
okay.
But the only thing is you get to bring up, we got what? You can bring up 5 more guys. A roster goes up to 29, 4 more guys. So you could bring up, and maybe this is why, as I said to you earlier, that's why they've been sandbagging with Soroka. That because on September 1st, you can bring Soroka up, and he's only got so many times you can send him up and down before he goes to waivers. Then you got, Alan Winans has done a really nice job. We've already talked about him. Maybe you bring up stick with AJ Smith-Shawver. I'm looking at the names, but Soroka is the one that kind of sticks out at you right now. They got a guy named Grant Holmes, but I just bring him some other pitchers in different roles so the bullpen is fresh as well. How about that?
I like it. What do you guys think? And again, I'm not telling you that we're not playing everybody as we normally would, but as you start to monitor days off, with the scheduling, and you start to think about who's played a lot of games. It's a long season, man. Yeah, like 162.
Ben Heller. Get Ben Heller back up as middle relief set up just to take some load off because you can do that with the expanded roster.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
And maybe give guys a couple of days in the month of September to keep them fresh as we head into October. There's nothing wrong with this. But if you do it, you have to know that maybe some guys, with the momentum they have, and we're talking about Olson and Acuna and some of these guys, it may have an effect. And I don't know if I want to do that. What do you guys think? 404-726-0929. You guys can hit us up on our Solomon Brothers Diamond text line. This is, by the way, a great place to be in. We're not worried about chasing the wild card. We're not worried about, hey, we're third or fourth in our division. We have put ourselves in position with the run we've made, 78-42, with the way that we've played, that now we have options, Mike, that we can make decisions like this, and this is going to be on Snit. I mean, Snit's got to make these decisions and say, screw that, I'm playing everybody, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. But then if we poop out in the playoffs, people are going to say, well, why did we rest guys?
Well, the other thing is, I mentioned those 4 games we got with the Dodgers. That's big, too, for home field in the National League as a number 1 seed. So the Dodgers right now are 73-46, and we're 78-42. So that's also important to if the Dodgers. They're on a nice run right now, by the way. They won their last 10 in a row. Has L.A. So you want to maybe say, I got to be number 1 because I don't have to go to Los Angeles, right?
Right. No.
And you know, in a best of 7 and have to play more games there. So there's a concern. But I just think it's there's always the 2 different schools of thought. Sometimes managers overthink it and it screws up the momentum. That's another thing. Maybe just keep on doing what you're doing.
Polls up. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But you guys may feel differently. Braves should blank with their starters as the regular season wraps up. Rest all the starters periodically. You don't rest everybody every day. Play all the starters. Only sit the taxed pitchers, which Mike was talking about, some of these guys.
That's what I voted for.
And then play the award contenders, meaning guys that are up for something special in their careers. Play them. Acuna, we can't expect Acuna to be this guy every single year. He's not going to chase 70 stolen bases every single year. But this year he is, Mike, and I think you got to take advantage of that.
So right now, Strider last year pitched 131 innings. He's already pitched 139, so he's 8 innings more than he's ever pitched before in his brief MLB career.
So, and here's the thing, and I've always said this because all these old vets and old heads always told me, like, until you pitch 200 innings, you don't know what that's about, right? You don't know if your body and what that feels like to pitch 200 innings. Mike just said he's at 139. That's a lot of innings to get to.
I'm just saying, and look, I hate pitch counts. I hate where baseball's gone. You can thank Steven Strasburg for all that nonsense.
Yep.
But now that you look at, again, you lost to the Phillies because Strider wasn't 100% last year. Plain and simple.
So is he the number 1 guy in this pitching staff that I need 100%?
Strider's my number 1 guy.
I'm with you.
In the words of Jack, you are my number 1
I agree.
guy. It's Strider, Fried, Morton for me.
All right. So if he's the number 1 guy that I need to have ready for the postseason, Mike, then I got to monitor him.
Right. And look, he'll have, and the other idea, he may have more chances to win that Cy Young Award, although some people say it only comes around once in a while, so go. But here's the thing. As a fan, I don't care about the individual awards. Only thing that matters is another parade. And hopefully they slow the bus down on Peachtree this time.
I don't know if Strider would. I'm guessing, Spencer, you don't care about this. Maybe you do. I mean, but I would guess, Mike, if you ask these guys, if we asked Matt Olson with where he came from, you got a chance to win a World Series. Ronald Acuna, who was not a part of the run, okay, because he was injured. You got a chance to win a World Series versus the MVP. Or Spencer Strider, hey, you've got a chance to win a World Series over being Cy Young Award winner. Would they all pick the World Series?
I would like to think they'd take the World Series. And by the way, I just looked it up while you're talking. Strider, he pitched 7 innings against the Mets, 6 2/3, 6 so he's getting into the 7th inning consistently now. So that's good in his development, but I just need him to be at maximum performance when we play that the first round.
I really wonder what the Braves number is. Like, is there a number where they go, he's going to pitch 158 innings, and then we're gonna back off this thing?
No, I get it. It's like the days of Smoltz, to his point, or Tom. And by the way, Smoltz has been so much fun to listen to on the broadcast on Bally Sports with Frenchie. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But as you said it, Smoltz said there's only one way to learn by doing. But they're so over concerned now with the mechanics and you're messing up the elbow and the shoulder, so they don't do it like they used to.
Going to be interesting. You guys can go vote. Poll questions up at Dukes and Bell 929. And again, no wrong answers. It's just how you would approach this. We all feel like when we're sitting at home watching these games going, oh, well, what is Snit doing? Okay, well, Snit has some decisions here coming up over the next few weeks that will affect this team. And if you chase some of these milestones, Mike, if you chase some of these awards, it may affect how hot guys are going to be heading into the postseason because you put all this energy into trying to get this stuff, and then it's like, whoo, you're pooped.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, it'd be really cool to have an MVP and the home run king on the same team. But again, it's like when we talk about football teams, I don't root. I have certain guys I pull a little bit more for, but I root for the logo on the side of the lid. I root for the Braves, man, and a tomahawk.
So you don't want Ritter throwing for 5,200?
I don't care. Well, if he's my fantasy quarterback, I do.
You don't want Ritter with 35 touchdowns?
Hell yeah. But individual achievements, the NFL, no one really, let's be honest, nobody cares about those numbers. It's not like baseball. Baseball is the one sport where all the individual numbers matter.
No, it's true. Because you can be, and we've said this, Cooper Kupp broke all these records, didn't win the MVP, right? He won the Triple Crown and receiving yards, touchdowns, did not win the MVP, to your point. So it is different. But I want to be careful to not be ready to go into the playoffs playing our best baseball.
I think Sticker's got a handle on it. I just, again, if you want to get a sports psychologist in and explain what happened to the Braves last year, did you expend so much energy in beating the Mets and you took the Phillies for granted?
Well, we were down 10, right?
It just came down to you had a couple guys that didn't hit against the Phillies. And, oh, by the way, 2 of your 3 best pitchers couldn't do the job.
Yeah, but was that rest-oriented?
Yeah, that's why we're talking about the things we're talking about. Maybe you monitor it through September, let some of the guys from Gwinnett eat some of those innings, and everybody's good to go.
GMC ATL, appreciate you listening. He says, put them up, see Dukes play them. Maybe they get some pitching rest and an occasional day off in the field, but I don't want to mess with their momentum.
All right.
Okay.